Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the very first challenge that I'm being faced with now that the discus fish have been introduced into the tank. So it's been almost just about a month now. And as you recall, I added 10 discus fish, 50 otocinclus, 100 neons, and since then I also added some other cleaner fish and invertebrates. So all these fish that have been added kind of all at once, added a lot of bioload into the tank. So I had to add a lot of beneficial bacteria when I did my water changes to help keep up with the ammonium that is being introduced into the tank through all these feedings and the fish waste, so that it gets properly broken down. But nevertheless, I am being faced with my very first problem, and that is kind of expected, but I still want to talk to you about it and how to fix it in a tank like this with discus fish, which is Cyanobacteria, also known as blue or green slime algae. So as you can see, the algae is pretty much everywhere. So it started about kind of like 2 weeks ago, and I tried to keep it at bay, with my regular weekly water changes, but it simply grows too fast. 2 days after I clean all the bottom, for example, it's already back. So it's really difficult to rid this problem. So I do have to admit though, when I set up this tank, it looked super clean, of course, because it was brand new, but I kind of like the view of having some green on the logs, because it kind of makes it look more natural in a way. In the real forest, you see moss growing on tree trunks, and so if I have some green in the back, or on some of these logs, it kind of makes it look more natural. It just makes it look ugly when it's covered. When it covers everything, so that's kind of bad. So the way I'm going to be tackling this is by a product that I found on Amazon, which is blue-green slime stain remover. So this is the blue green version. There's also a red one for saltwater tanks. And the way this works, so one of these packets contains enough powder for 150 gallons. This is a 480 gallon tank, 8 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet. But I do have a lot of interior stuff in there, a lot of soil and background and all that. So I believe if I use 3 of these, so 3 times 150, so for 450 gallons, I should be good. And so basically, according to the instructions, you mix this in water, and then you basically pour it into the tank. So I'm going to be pouring it into the sump, and then the return pump that is up there in the back, will basically distribute it evenly. And then according to the manufacturer, that should be it. But a lot of people recommend to do a second dose or second treatment about 48 hours later. That's why I bought a second set of 3. So I will be doing that. And before I add the second one in there 48 hours later, I will do an update video and see how the first one helped tackle this problem. But usually, according to what I've read, it takes really a total of 7 days. So I do weekly water changes. Today I do my water change as part of my weekly maintenance, and then after I'm done, I will add this stuff into the tank, the first dose, and then hopefully after I added the second dose 2 days later, wait another 5 days, it will hopefully look a lot different. So that is my plan on how to deal with cyanogen algae. And it's also fish safe for sensitive fish like discus, for invertebrates, for scaleless fish like coolie loaches. So it should be going pretty well. Unless they change the formula somehow. So I will start going on that, and then we'll show you an update in 48 hours. guys, I just put in the blue slime remover to fight off the diatom algae, and this is day 1, and basically in 48 hours I will do an update to see if we see any changes. Let me do a few close-ups for you. We see it basically everywhere. So, and also it grows back really fast on the grass. So if I hadn't put it in within 2 days, this would be all covered again. So yeah, hopefully this stuff will produce good results. According to reviews online, it's really effective. So we will see 48 hours from now if you and I can spot any difference. Okay guys, so it's been roughly 48 hours since I put the blue-green slime remover into this tank, and yeah, what can I say? The difference already is huge. So let me go a little closer and show you. So the first thing that basically happened was all this blue-green algae on the trees just started to melt away and fall off. You can still see some, but it basically just disintegrates. It's really, you know, stunning to see. So when I look at the logs in the background, I see very little left, and I think the majority of what is left is still on the grass, and that is particularly troublesome because you know, the grass, because this tank is so tall. I use the Kessel 360 tuna sunlights with the narrow reflector to reach to have as much light as possible on the bottom. But when you have the grass covered in algae, it doesn't really get a lot of light. And my CO2 setup that you know, puts CO2 mixed with water into the tank, the CO2 doesn't really get in contact with the grass either if it's covered with this green algae or this cyanobacteria. So yeah, this is probably the last problem that this product still has to solve. But when it comes to the background, I'm really happy. I mean, it looks so much nicer. So I'm already getting ready to put the second dose into the tank. So like I said in the last clip, we have 3 packs, and one is good for 150 gallons. So I have a 480 gallon tank minus interior, so roughly 450 maybe. So I put 3 of them, mix it in with water, and then put it into the sump. And then I will give you guys, I guess, an update in like 5 days, because that's what I heard it will take then for the second dose to be completely done with treating this tank for cyanobacteria. So basically, next time I do my water change, next weekend, next coming Sunday, I will give you an update before I do the water change to see what's left of the algae. And hopefully the grass will look much nicer and won't have so many brown spots. And yeah, so stay tuned for the video and that will film in a couple days from now. Okay guys, so it's been another 5 days since I added the blue algae slime remover product into the tank, and what can I say? I mean, I think it works wonders. So I don't think there's anything left. It's all pretty much disappeared. Everything is doing really well in here. Yeah, one thing they mention in the instructions is to make sure that you add some additional aeration. That is because even if your entire tank is covered with that cyanobacteria, it does produce oxygen just like any other algae. And what that means is you do have a balance in this tank of what produces what, and the oxygen level provided by that algae is important as well. So if you put in a product that suddenly kills off all of it within 2 days, there's not enough time for another plant to basically do the catch-up work for the algae that just died. So it's good to have additional aeration. So I didn't add anything in this tank because I do have 2 air stones. And as you may know, I have a trickle system which already produces enough oxygen. So I didn't add anything in terms of aeration. But the only other thing I want to mention is I do see some left here, so I don't know if that will eventually grow into another problem in the future, but if it does, then I know what product to use. Fish are doing well. You can see here we have more breeding going on, laying eggs and fertilizing them. So these 2 fish will eventually be put in their own tank for breeding purposes, and that will be another video. But yeah, all I can say is that product has done it for me, and no losses when it comes to the fish. I didn't kill any of my fish, even the scaleless fish like the loaches or an eel that I have in here. So yeah, all right guys, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.